and that is Vermin Supreme. So, Vermin, what have you been doing during quarantine?
Well, I guess I have been quarantining, I suppose, ultimately, all in all, more or less. I have indeed taken the pandemic seriously enough that I have been staying away from large crowds, for example. I mean, ultimately, um, I personally, my lifestyle, I live in the woods, and I don't really get out of the woods if I can help it. So that sort of worked out really nicely. So there is that. Um, and I guess, have I been spending any more time on social media? Nah, I spend plenty of time on social media with or without a pandemic. So I've been trying to cure the pandemic. Of course, I've been consulting with my various scientists, and we are trying to find a cure, a non-scientific cure, an imaginary cure that probably won't work. That's probably really dangerous. But if we can get on the ground floor and get a taste and a part of the stocks, if say we come up with some sort of a ridiculous cure that really doesn't work, some sort of I don't know, hydrogen dioxide or something, and we can package that and we can sell it and own a piece of it, and maybe it'll kill you, maybe it won't. Yeah. What pandemic? What are you talking about?
How do you feel about wearing masks?
I love Halloween. I love the opportunity to wear masks. I like Mardi Gras. I like Carnival. It's always a good opportunity to wear a mask. I enjoy masks and blindfolds during kinky sex sessions, of course. And I don't really have a real problem wearing a mask, even though I'm pretty confident that I'm not a super spreader in public, because I do maintain all my precautions and the washing of the hands and the socially distancing and all of those things. But once again, I mean, you're playing the odds. I mean, how do you know you're not a super spreader, I mean, yeah, I understand the masks do not prevent you from inhaling particulate things that might be contaminated, but ultimately, wearing the mask is about you not spreading your disease that you may have. People who are militantly anti-masker, well, I mean, don't wear a mask in your own home. I mean, whatever. I mean, shower with your clothes on. Fuck without a rubber. I don't care if you fucking, well, she didn't have a well. When I fucked her last week, she didn't have no STDs, so why should I don't think she'll have one this week. I mean, that's the sort of thinking that goes on. It's like, how can I catch something from my friends or the people I live with? Well, if they're out fucking around or fucking around without a mask or a condom, there's just no telling what they might bring home.
Another question, and this one's from Kelly Ehrlich. Can we get a National Soft Pretzel Day?
Well, Kelly, I'm very glad you asked that question. In my world, every day is National Soft Pretzel Day. Now, I'm very sorry if there is that issue with soft pretzels, if you will, and sometimes you just can't get them hard, no matter how hard you might try, putting them in your mouth, putting mustard on them, licking the salt off them and things like that, and they're still soft. But I believe that there are some sort of erectile pretzel dysfunction drugs available. So don't you worry if your partner cannot get their pretzel hard. It's not you. It's not him. It's nobody's fault. It happens, and it's just something that you need to work a little extra on. That's all. But once again, it's nobody's fault. It's just a natural biological thing that happens sometimes. Not everybody can have a hard pretzel all the time.
Do you think you had votes stolen from you by Russia in the 2016 election? And do you think that kept you from winning?
Well, once again, of course, I've always maintained Vermin Supreme is indeed a vote completely thrown away. In the past, in 2016 in particular, that had always been particularly true. Many people write me in as a write-in protest, or as a write-in belief that I'm the best candidate. And many times in many states, these votes are completely and literally thrown away. There's some states that if you don't register as a write-in candidate, they'll throw your vote away. There are many municipalities where the vote counters have a lot of leeway in deciding what is a real vote, what's not a real vote, what's a spoiled ballot. So in many instances across America, in 2016 in particular, many people very well may have voted for me, maybe even enough to allow me to win. I doubt it, unlikely. But the fact of the matter is that that the votes weren't counted. So it's theoretically possible. Now, were the Russians involved? I suspect not. However, this year, of course, as I was seeking the Libertarian Party nomination, I was on the ballot in several states in their primaries. Now, this year was a shame, because this year a vote for Vermin Supreme was not necessarily a vote thrown away, because those votes that people voted for me in the primary counted. But on the other hand, it was a straw poll, because there's no delegates. The delegates are not committed by that primary vote. So in that sense, it was a symbolic vote, although not totally thrown away.
Speaking of everybody dying, and this literally just came in as you were talking about Herman Cain. So 2020 has been a fuck show of a year so far. Do you think this is the year of the zombie apocalypse, just to go with the flow? Now, before you answer that, while you were talking, NASA just put out a warning that an asteroid may hit the U.S. the day before the election. So, welcome to 2020.
And that asteroid is the asteroid that contains the zombie virus. Mark my words. I have inside information. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to take us, now, unfortunately, this, I hear and I understand that this particular meteor asteroid hitting the Earth could impact and perhaps even wipe out the dinosaurs. And so I am very concerned about that.
We don't want to lose those dinosaurs.
No, they're a very important part of the ecosystem.
Like, how would they make any more Jurassic Park movies if all the dinosaurs become extinct? That's a crazy idea.
Exactly. I mean, if you can't go to the zoo and show your family endangered animals and dinosaurs and giant reptiles, I mean, why do we even exist on this planet? Other than to enslave ponies eventually. Somebody
else would like to know, do you have a TikTok?
Well, that's a very good question, and I do have a TikTok. It was during the campaign this last year. It came to our attention that I was going viral on TikTok, and the Supreme hashtag was up to like 2 million hits at that point. So I immediately it's at the real Vermin Supreme, because obviously I got such a late start that I didn't get my name without adding all those other words to it. So at the real Vermin Supreme. I have hints on there how to avoid COVID by not picking your friend's nose. I believe there's a video on there how to make your own toilet paper, because of course the big toilet paper crisis in America, out of old newspapers and out of paper bags, and how to crumple them up and uncrumple them and crumple them up and uncrumple them to make it sort of soft and usable and absorbent, as is very important. And at this point in time, last I checked, I think there's, well, it might be more now, 14 million hits on the Vermin Supreme and Vermin Supreme for President hashtag. So, and that is with me pretty much forgetting that I'm supposed to make content for it. I almost never make content for it. And now, President, what's his face there is trying to like ban it apparently because he heard that I was so popular and he's so freaking jelly of me, that he's trying to ban the whole platform because you know, he knows that I'm very likely going to be the next TikTok president. Yeah, there are all those things, and you know, hey, whatever. It's TikTok. I signed up for it, and if they happen to record my clipboard every few seconds and send it off to China, I mean, that's what the internet is.
Would you have sex with Stormy Daniels for $130? Not 130,000, just $130.
Sure, why not? I mean, I'd have to get a hall pass from the wife, of course, but and I don't think that would happen. Interesting fun fact. Here's an actual real life fun fact. This election year, early on, I reached out to Stormy Daniels through her people, and I asked her if she was interested in being my vice presidential candidate this year.
That is
under the Libertarian ticket, because I thought this would be an incredible year. In fact, I started trying to push her to be a presidential nominee for the Libertarian Party because she would have been an amazing opponent for the current president because of their previous relations. She came. Her people did come back to me. She did decline, with the stated excuse that she didn't want to be anybody's second banana, which was fair. And of course, you know, all of her positions are I think she leans more progressive than libertarian, but that's okay because, you know, the Libertarian Party is very pro sex work. We support sex workers. Sex work is work, and we're definitely all about the legalization of all consensual transactions between consenting adults.
Should we ban the name Karen from being given to newborns to help curb racism?
Well, I believe the market will take care of that, and if I'm not mistaken, I saw a study or an article the other day that very well claimed that all the newborns that had been born since the Karen became a derogatory phrase, their parents are not using it. You know, parents know what's up, and they are not naming their children Karen. So, you know, names fall out of favor for many different reasons over the years. I mean, you can see the rise and fall. I mean, a lot has to do with the popular television shows or popular soap operas or, you know, different cultural things that are going on. I mean, I hear a lot of people are naming their kids Vermin these days. Not really. The slang that, so I wouldn't worry about the Karen thing. Is a little obnoxious, but that's just human nature. That's the way people are raised. Sadly, they are raised in a way that encourages them or allows them to believe that they are in a position to call forth the potentially lethal powers of the state on marginalized peoples. So that part is terrible. You know, the calling for the manager thing, you know, that's mildly entertaining. But when you start to get the police involved and knowing full well how things can spiral out of hand, and that if the situation is read the wrong way, that somebody could get killed or imprisoned, then that behavior is bullshit. And Karens should be called on that, just to hopefully correct their behavior through public shaming. I think that's a legitimate form of correcting behavior.
Would you? This comes from Eric Gibson. Will you build a wall between U.S. and Canada?
Well, that sort of drops that.
I don't know if that's
well,
to keep me.
I know the. Yeah. Well, currently it seems as if though there is no international travel between those borders. As a presidential candidate. Indeed, I did have a platform, and it was specifically related to COVID. It was COVID related, but I believe it is directly related to your question. In addition, as your president, I will make COVID against the law, number one. Number two, I will create COVID-free zones, because it has worked so well with guns and drugs to keep those things out. We'll have COVID-free zones. Now, naturally, I am the time travel candidate, so I have promised to go back in time and kill baby COVID. So that's definitely on the list. And here's where it relates to your question. I will build a microscopic, antimicrobial, antiviral wall around America to keep out viruses and germs. And then I'm going to follow it up with a moat, and I'm going to dig a moat, and then I'm going to fill that moat with hand sanitizer to keep any sort of viruses or Canadian flus that we just don't know yet, that you guys haven't created yet to send down to punish us for our success and for being so much better than you. So, I know, Canada's jelly.
Would you, on that note, would you ever consider running for Prime Minister of Canada?
Absolutely. Let's just say I am. Let's just say I am. Vermin Supreme for Prime Minister of Canada. Let's do it. Let's do this, people. I'm ready. If you're ready, I'm ready. Obviously, as that random question points out, that there is a groundswell of support, and I believe that it is inevitable. It is unstoppable, mildly unstoppable at least, and that together we can something bring Canada, blah blah blah, Canada ponies, something. Maple Leafs, go Maple Leafs.
I have a lot of friends that would be very happy for you to run for Prime Minister of Canada.
I am definitely. I'm glad that your caller put that out there, because if you all can remind me and get together that AstroTurf or grassroots groundswell of support, why the hell not? Yeah, why not? See that I'm pandering.
I know. Do you know how to spell Thailand?
Just like Thailand, but differently.
And this also came out this past week that President Trump was apparently attempting to trade Puerto Rico for Greenland. Do you think that would have been a good exchange?
Well, no, Greenland's too cold.
Okay.
Too cold. And I'll tell you another thing about Greenland. There is simply not enough Puerto Ricans there.
No.
Now, on the other hand, I would not have an issue with perhaps offering the Puerto Rican people the opportunity to invade and take over Greenland. I believe that would be very exciting. It would be right up there with the Falklands War, but better.
So Sarah Handegard would like to know, it's a two-parter. Do you think mail-in ballots will help improve your chance this year? And how many ballots do you currently have stockpiled at your house?
All of them.
Okay. Now, I did see where you posted that you were coming up with a new military, the mail force.
Yes, I felt that was probably the bestest way to guarantee funding for the Postal Service. Yes, another branch of the military, mail force. And they will deliver your mail overnight, even if it demands destroying your house or the entire village in order to the fighting men and the male fighters, essentially. Because, you know, we're talking a lot about gender neutral terms these days, and of course you have firefighter, and perhaps police would be crime fighter, and yes, a fisherman would be a fish fighter, and mailmen would be male fighters. So yeah, I think so. I think there's a space, and of course the funding won't be a problem because it'll be under the Department of Defense, and it will have all sorts of leftover military equipment. So they'll have like the latest in weaponry against dogs that bark at them. They'll be able to kill dogs with impunity, just like the regular police force. Yeah.
How has the Tooth Fairy been doing?
Could it be better? Obviously, with the pandemic, a lot of people haven't been getting to the dentist. Unfortunately, sometimes toothbrushing just isn't cutting it, and the flossing isn't cutting it. And of course, the secret dental police have been redeployed as the secret mask. You better wear that mask, police. And so there has been a downtick in dental health in this country. I'm sorry, and I'm hoping to change that when I am in office and we can enforce those things. But of course, the DNA gene splicing to create a race of tooth fairies, that research is going right along. The tooth fairy, I mean, it has been pointed, who will pay for the teeth? The tooth fairy, such philanthropy is unsustainable. I mean, where does the Tooth Fairy get all this money? There's something going on there that we just don't fully understand. And so I'm thinking of calling a moratorium on such activity until we can really get right down to it and find out what's going on. In the meantime, I think I'll just wave my hands around in front of the camera because it looks really cool, and it's like I'm emphasizing. But yeah, join me. Join me. Hey, come on, Timmy. Let's get those fingers in front of the woo. Oh yeah. Now once again, this is a pro tip in this day and age. Like, a lot of people are doing a lot of Zoom meetings, and it's like a lot of people just really want to know how to pep up their Zoom presentation. And I would recommend that this type of activity. I have found that when I'm conducting a business meeting, and you sort of it keeps it interesting. That's all I'm saying.
Luis Garcia would like to know, boxers or tighty whities? Or apparently nothing. Never mind. I don't even know why I asked this. Jesus.
Wait, that's not my butt. Hold on, sorry. Wait, I can't see it. Can you see my butt?
Yeah,
okay,
there you go.
Am I wet? Am I twerking? Hold on, let me twerk for it.
I don't. Yeah, you have leaves coming out of your ass.
Oh, geez, that's disgusting. Thanks for letting me know there. I'm must have been on my seat there. Anyway, yeah, it wasn't shit.
Thanks, Lewis, for that. Aimee Sherod would like to know, she's still waiting for her damn pony.
Yes, about that. Have you looked in this cellar? It could be in your cellar. You might want to look behind the bushes. You might want to look in your garage. It may have been delivered when you weren't at home, so you might want to take a peek for it. You may want to ask your mail force carrier when they come to force and deliver your mail very forcefully because of the mail force. Ask your mail carrier delivery human if they had delivered your pony, and if they haven't delivered your pony, ask them if they know where your pony is. It could have been delivered to your neighbors accidentally. I don't know if your neighbors suddenly had several ponies appear out of nowhere. Those could very well be your ponies. So you might want to go check the pony identification barcode lip tattoo and see if it matches the paperwork that you've received. Other than, because we don't want the pony to end up in the dead pony office at the mail force post office, because that is a scary, dark, and terribly smelly place.
Okay, could you beat Donald Trump in a game of golf, both at your course? Because many people don't know this. At least when I was there a few years ago, you have a golf course at your compound.
That is true. That's a fact. I have an 18-hole mini extreme mini putt-putt golf course here in the woods. As you know, you get to play through trees and over rocks, and I have no doubt in my mind that I would severely beat Donald Trump with a 9-iron, probably around the head, around the shoulders, certainly in his big fat gut, few in his back, kidney, probably his legs. I definitely kneecap him with the 9-iron. And once again, of course, the 9-iron, it's you know, the balance isn't really totally there for as a bludgeon. You know, it wasn't designed as a bludgeon to really beat someone with in such a fashion. However, it will do the job, and so yeah, I would if I were the caddy, or you know, I guess I would take my caddy's recommendation. You know, I would, you know, initially I say a 9-iron would probably beat him pretty well and hard and bloody, and you know, I wouldn't want to hurt him. You know, I don't want to kill the guy. I mean, but yeah, I think on behalf of the American people, and I believe it would be only right and fair. Yes, thank you. I look forward to a visit from the Secret Service.
Okay, only a few more questions. Karen Allen would like to know, do you wish to eradicate all zombies? And if some are left over, are they held to the same toothbrushing laws?
Well, once again, I believe that you might be. I would never imply that you were mildly misinformed on the zombie platform plank of my platform, but the zombie plank of my platform is not so much about eradicating zombies. No, it's about being prepared for the imminent zombie invasion that will be brought with a giant comet 2 days before Election Day. And this involves harnessing, capturing a zombie capture method, much like, and capturing the zombies, and then harnessing the zombies and putting them on giant turbines in order to create electricity. And so, therefore, you know, I mean, many people, you know, play the zombie video games and whatever. That's a natural impulse because they're scary and all. But if you take that headshot, if you chop the zombie's head off or what have you and destroy its brains, it becomes unsuitable for zombie energy production. With now, because they have to turn. In fact, let me see if I don't have an illustration here, and I believe that I do to illustrate this for you. And of course, once again, of course, it's all here in my book. I don't know if you're familiar with my book, I, Pony, Blueprint for a New America. It's available on the internet, iponythebook.com, and this book is a story about the future long after a Vermin Supreme presidency, when everybody has their pony, when zombie power fuels the nation, when the secret dental police have set up checkpoints every couple 100 yards or so. It is a warning from the people of the future to you, the people of their past, your present, that Vermin Supreme is a madman and must be stopped.
Jason Blessing wants to know, how does one apply to the zombie response team?
Well, I believe that is going to be a subdivision of the Vermin Supreme Institute, because the Vermin Supreme Institute seems to be a place where we could do that sort of thing, because we are an institute, and so therefore we have initiatives. And I definitely believe zombie response is indeed an initiative of the Vermin Supreme Institute. Now, what's the Vermin Supreme Institute? You may be asking yourself right about now. I can see it on your face. And ultimately, the Vermin Supreme Institute it's an institute. Now, what we did is we took my name, which is Vermin Supreme, my legal name, two words which join together like that. I have a service trademark on, so don't you be trying to use it. And we added the word institute to the word Vermin Supreme. Now, Vermin Supreme, it's okay, but add the word institute. Holy crap! It sounds so legitimate. And it is legitimate, folks, because now we've magically made an institute. Um, and it is a spin-off of my campaign team this election year. Of course, I was seeking the Libertarian nomination, which entailed, which was ultimately my first real campaign that I'd ever run in over 30 years of satirical, farcical campaigning. But these 30 years of running the crazy pretend campaign gave me the notoriety and the audience reach and the audience that allowed me to make a legitimate and actual offer of my services as a candidate to the Libertarian Party. And let me tell you, friends, that proved so successful in this idea of utilizing non-linear messaging and using absurdity and ridiculousness as a hook to catch people's attention in order to pivot to more serious issues of the day. And there was surprisingly a very receptive audience for that in the Libertarian Party here in America. And so I was able to, I was recruited. I was recruited, number one. My campaign manager, Desiree Lindsay of Texas, reached out over a year before the event and asked me if I was interested in running a serious campaign. And it seemed like such a natural extension, such a natural outgrowth of what I was doing, that I said, why the hell not? And we put together a hell of a campaign team. We had over 100 volunteers. We had a core group of at least a dozen from the right and the left of the Libertarian Party. And an interesting side note is the Libertarian Party is not a right-leaning monolith, as many people assume. It has its own internal left and right spectrum, going so far as to having a Libertarian Socialist Caucus within the Libertarian Party itself. And so, and of course, the Libertarian Party platform, lp.org/platform, you can read up on it. I believe the Venn diagram will more than likely have you agree with a good chunk of it and maybe disagree with some of it. But as a left leaning anarchist, as an anarchist who came from the left side of the tracks, Kropotkin, cut my teeth on Kropotkin and all, I was able to ultimately work with clean conscience with the Libertarian Party because my beliefs overlapped with so many of theirs that it's feasible. Now, once again, we're talking priorities. You go to some of these debates and you'd have some of the other candidates going, we're going to end Social Security day one. We're going to end Medicare day one. We're going to end, abolish the FDA and the CDC and the Department of Education day one. And yes, and ultimately those are consistent with the natural extension goals of an anarchist that wants to, dismantle the government or what have you. But many libertarians take this extreme position without actually offering a transitional approach. You have to lead people to that place where that makes sense, where we are taking care of ourselves in our community through voluntary associations and mutual aid, as opposed to just like pulling this rug out from everyone all at once. So there's some definitely disagreements in levels of what have you within the party itself. But ultimately, I was able to work with the party and actually seek their nomination. And I attended many state conventions and I attended numerous debates. And during these debates, I had to take on a more serious persona, if you will. I was like serious vermin, where I would be answering the questions with a quip, but then I would pivot, back to the platform or the reality-based portion of it. And it was a crazy year, and it was a culture shift. I was because as an anarchist, a left anarchist, I believed in mutual aid and believed mutual aid very strongly, helping each other, help ourselves. And I was always afraid to even broach it or mention it or bring it up to my libertarian friends because I was afraid they would co-opt the term and run with it. But here I am years later, and that was a cornerstone of my campaign, promoting mutual aid, promoting compassion, promoting love, promoting building our communities, and all of these things that became a centerpiece of my campaign. And so I want to pivot it back, of course, to the original question, but I think I've grandpa'd out and taken it in a direction, and so if I may, for a moment, without boring your listeners, I'm going to see if I can't read the two-sentence mission statement that we have. So here we are. This is the mission statement of the Vermin Supreme Institute. Our purpose is to inspire social evolution through the disruption of authoritarianism, to promote compassionate activism, and to spread knowledge of redacted history. Through the use of humor, direct action, and mutual aid, we uplift the disaffected, disenfranchised, and disempowered. Thank goodness. I sometimes I say disenfrench fried, but this time no. So yeah,
And what's the website again?
Vermin Supreme Institute.org.
In 2 minutes or less, how would you rate Donald Trump's performance so far? You're gonna shake your head.
Well, I'm gonna.
Oh, there we go. So, Vermin, final thoughts.
Shoot, go right ahead.
People.
No, what are your final thoughts?
No, what are your final thoughts? What is your plea to the American people?
Are you sure? No, it sounded like one of those Jerry Springer final thoughts, and then you launch into the thing. That's not a part of your podcast?
No.
What my final thoughts are, thank you very much for having me on your show. It was a pleasure seeing you again. We had such a great time when y'all came out to visit, and so keep up the good work, and I hope that ultimately we will get through this pandemic, and I'm sure there will be a vaccine soon enough before the next pandemic, and we'll all be able to return to some sort of a normal doing what we like to do, because I know we all miss our friends and families and being able to do all the things that we normally do. So once again, keep sharing, keep loving, keep caring, keep checking on your neighbors. I mean, it's been months and months and months of this pandemic, but ultimately it has been our communities and our friends and our families and each other that is helping each other survive through it. Maybe more so than the government. So keeping that in mind, we want to strengthen our families, strengthen our communities, and be able to ultimately wean ourselves off of the state and off of our need for government. And of course, in these times, it's sometimes it's a little hard to imagine, because we have become so dependent on the government as a provider of solutions for these problems. So there's that part of it. It's my closing statements. Friends, the road to Ponatopia will not be easy. Not all of us will make it. There will be sacrifices, human sacrifices. But friends, let me assure you this: the road to Ponatopia will be paved with the glitter-encrusted skulls of our vanquished foes. Stick with me, people. Ride with me, people. And we will ride our ponies into a zombie-powered future. Thank you. I'm Vermin Supreme. I approve this message. Have a very beautiful day.
Thank you, Vermin. I'm Tim Martini from Exploring the Obscure from Toronto, Canada. Vermin, you're still in Rockport, Massachusetts?
Yes, I am.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Check out all the links below. Vote Vermin Supreme. Write him in, especially if you're in Massachusetts on the Libertarian tickets. And until next time, my friend, we'll talk again so we can get you up here in Canada and get you running for Prime Minister.
Okay, no, that sounds great. It sounds like a blast. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll definitely get all the rhinoceros party kids involved, and let's do it. Woo!
Good talking to you. I will see you soon.
Likewise, Mr. Martini. A pleasure as always.